Did you ever wonder what's happening with your data when you delete it in the Microsoft 365? In this video I will deep dive into the scenarios about the retention, so how Microsoft storing your data after you will remove it, or what's happening where this data is permanently removed from Microsoft 365. In general, the assumption is that the data is retained, so you should be safe. Every location when you will remove the data, it will be hosted somewhere in some kind of recycle bin before it will be removed permanently. But you will see it is super messy setup in the Microsoft 365. Almost every applications work a little different way, with different policies, with different approach. It's worth to have understanding how it works and to be sure if your organization don't need any additional backup that will allow you to restore removed data. If you like this video, I highly recommend you to work with me together against the Google algorithms on YouTube. Leave the comments below, use the like button, and if you want to get more videos like that, click subscribe. Now I will switch to my screen where I will go application by application and show you how retention of deleted data works there, what are the limitations, and I will also present you partner of this video, AFI.AI, reliable professional backup solution that can help you to restore deleted data in your Microsoft 365. And before we will move forward, I want to share with you that this video is brought to you thanks to the AFI.AI backup vendor that is proud partner of my blog office365atwork.com and supports this series of the videos that will help to share the knowledge about the backup process of the data in the Microsoft 365 that works for enterprise. And before we will move forward, please be aware that documentation about configuration of each application is documented in the description of the video. So if you want to deep dive into specific elements, go there. You will find the direct links not only for the trial license of AFI.AI, but also for the specific documentation about out-of-the-box retention of deleted data in the Microsoft 365. So we can move forward and let's start from the whole tenant on the Microsoft 365. It could be surprising for you, but it is possible to lose the whole data in the Microsoft 365. The whole tenant can be removed. That kind of scenario could happen when you will remove all the licenses from the tenant. Then the grace period is enabled by Microsoft for 60 days. That can be extended by request directly to Microsoft to 90 days, which allows you to do something with the data. That kind of scenario could happen during the acquisitions, mergers, migrations, when you're merging two organizations and leaving one tenant behind. If you want to get that data, there's no way. The only way is to migrate the data from the tenant to another tenant, or to do the backup of whole tenant data, store it in the Microsoft 365 archive solution as a part of the third-party backup, and research the data there and restore the data from there. This could be the option if you need to do such an operation after the merge or acquisition. So let's move to SharePoint Online, the main application when we're storing documents, building the records repositories like Microsoft 365. And you need to remember that every Viva Engage community and Microsoft Teams have SharePoint site behind it where you store the files and share them with others. If the data will be removed in there, you will have 93 days to use recycling, so retention feature that will allow you to restore that file back to the Microsoft 365 SharePoint Online solution. It applies to sites, to lists, to document libraries, to pages, to websites, and to documents. So you are safe for 93 days, but remember, this is the only case when somebody will delete the data and put it in the recycle bin and do not clean it up. Again, if you want to somehow extend it, but you can see this is application that is quite well covered for the this specific retention of deleted data. Another application that is also very common in the area of working with documents is of course Microsoft OneDrive, which works like document library in SharePoint. So you have a recycle bin, every deleted documents landing in the recycle bin in the Microsoft OneDrive. You have 93 days to restore that data. And you can tell that this is quite easy scenario, but you need to remember about another case. And we're talking here about disabled accounts in your Microsoft 365 environment. So accounts that will lose the license. Till that moment, all the storage across OneDrive was hosted, still accessible for the administrators that can access that data. But Microsoft changed that policy. The data will be removed, and you need to be prepared that you can lose it, or it will be archived based on configuration of your tenant, archived in the archived paid service. So you will need to pay to host that data. After the account will lose the license, you will have 59 days to work normally with the data. At the date 60, everything will be turned on to the read-only mode. After next 23 days, the account will be archived or removed to recycle bin. In case of archiving, you start need to pay for it. On the other scenario, in the recycle bin, if the data will land in the recycle bin, you will have 93 days to restore it. In the description, you will find detailed documentation about the process to get into the details. Another app we're working almost constantly is Microsoft Outlook. So if you're working with emails, meetings, contacts and calendar, Microsoft Outlook plus Exchange will be your main tool, which probably will not change that quick as we predicted when the Microsoft Teams join Microsoft 365. And you need to remember every deleted email in the Microsoft Outlook is automatically removed to the deleted items folder, and when you will clean it up, it will be moved to recoverable items for 14 days. After this period of time will be permanently removed. So in this case, 14 days, this is the period of time how long the deleted data is retained. We get back to Microsoft Teams. So one of the newest team member of the Microsoft 365 applications environment, and it's starting to be complicated because Microsoft Teams is not one application that hosts everything. This is multiplication of multiple elements that work together. First of all, we have channels and teams that are hosted inside Microsoft Teams by itself, and there is 30 days retention if you remove it. At the same time, in the background, we have the SharePoint that hosts your data, which contain recycle bin with 93 days retention period for the deleted data items. A lot of elements like chat, meetings and messages are hosted inside Exchange in the hidden structure, and again retention policies connected with Exchange applies there, so you need to be aware that sometimes it is immediately deleted, but there are scenarios where you can retain that data longer. Detailed information in the description, and moreover personal elements, personal documents in the chats, videos recorded are hosted in OneDrive where OneDrive retention policies apply. So you can see we have SharePoint, we have OneDrive, we have Microsoft Teams, we have Exchange. All of these applications have a little different retention policy for deleted data, so you can see it's starting to be a little messy. So let's move forward. We get into Planner, so application that is commonly used by the business users to plan project management, Kanban, tasks, to-do activities, and there's no retention at all. If you remove plan, if you remove comment, document, plan or activity there, all of that data is permanently deleted without any retention in place. Without third-party backup solution, you losing that data immediately. And what is most important, there's no split between permissions. So if the people can work on that, they can also delete the data. Be aware of that. And the next application, Power Platform, Power Apps. In general, you can assume that this is very similar scenario to Planner, but thankfully Microsoft starting to roll out Recycle Bin for Dataverse, so premium version of the Power Apps data storage, where you can have preview version of the recycle bin that will host deleted records for 30 days. Moreover, you can execute the snapshots of the whole environments of Power Platform, but again, this is not the backup, this is some kind of shot similar to the snapshot of the backups in the on-premise environments. So you can see still there's not that much retention of the data for the quite crucial applications in your environment. If you're building critical business apps, think about it, because this is something I see as a quite huge gap. Again, if the data is hosted in SharePoint, retention data policies for SharePoint applies there. If you're using Dataverse, we have this recycle bin that can be reused, but again, changes in the flows, changes in the Power Apps, changes in the Dataverse, these are the elements that are lacking advanced retention of the data. And last but not least, Viva Engage. So again, very commonly used application to building some kind of community social media features across Microsoft 365, where you have multiple components. You have Viva Engage, so communities that are created there, which can be hosted after the deletion for 30 days. So very similar functionality when you compare it with Microsoft Teams. And other elements are hosted in the Exchange, SharePoint, and Microsoft 365 groups. So again, if you doesn't have Entra ID backup, you can also lose that data. And retention policies from Exchange and from SharePoint applies here. So you can see there isn't one policy that applies to every application. Every application is a little different, work a little different way, giving you the possibility to backup, to retain deleted data and restore it. But in many cases, it works very unpredictable way to the end users who have no idea how complex it could be, and it could drive you to losing some data. If this is important element for your organization, consider third-party backups that could extend these capabilities of the Microsoft 365 apps, not only for the application that does not have retention of the data at all, but also for the other applications that there are some limitations, some period of times are shorter, some are longer. You can see it's very messy environment. And if you have critical data, business critical operations based on the Microsoft 365, sometimes backup could be critical element of your environment. Consider that, check the trial license of the AFI.AI that could allows you to backup many of these applications and extend these capabilities for you. You can see it is a little messy environment. Every application have a little different configuration, a little different policies, and what is the most surprising, there still are the apps across Microsoft 365 that does not retain data at all. If somebody will remove it, it is permanently deleted from your Microsoft 365 tenant. If you need to have the capabilities to extend possibility to restore deleted data, consider third-party backup solutions like AFI.AI and prepare your organization for such a scenario. Thank you very much for your time, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.